Once the Chinese are forced to use force, how serious are the consequences? This is the extranet largest Q&A site box on a question posed by a Japanese internet user. He was confused. Many people around me say, China is a country that advocates force. But in his opinion, the Chinese say they are a big agricultural country every day. Love farming, love peace. When the international situation is volatile, China has instead frequently called for a ceasefire to promote peace talks. It doesn't look like one. Countries that prefer to use force to solve problems. So, he couldn't help but ask, are the Chinese really martial? The problem arises. Instant fire in the comment area. A Russian internet user opened fire first. He said, the Japanese, in fact, it is the clearest. The group of people who are worth China's military might. The Chinese really love farming, but that doesn't mean they don't fight. Quite the contrary, when it comes to existential or historical issues. The speed of consensus formation within Chinese society, it will be difficult for outsiders to understand quickly. He even said bluntly, if there is an extreme conflict, let the referendum decide whether to go to war. The result is likely to be one, because in the Chinese narrative, some questions are not worth it. It's necessary. It's not necessary. The attitude of Korean netizens is obviously more complicated. He acknowledges that China is a multi-ethnic country, but what really bears the burden of war memory and war narrative? Mainly still the main nation. And what shocked him? It's the Chinese way of thinking about sacrifice. He said he often hears the Chinese talk about war in a very blunt way. Like going to war, not winning or losing. Is it enough? In his opinion, it's not militant thinking. It's a view of war that radicalizes life and death. This is very rare in East Asian countries. Also, very dangerous. Icelandic netizens cut directly from history. He said that if you look at Chinese history, you will find almost all the characters who are regarded as top, all in the expansion and unification war. Complete status building, whether empire builders or the ruler of the expansion. China's mainstream historical narrative has never shied away from force, even long-term justifications for successful force. The society that grew up in this cultural soil. To say no to martial arts at all is unrealistic. An American internet user who has lived in China for a long time encouraged a knife. He said he had lived in Nanjing for many years. What shocked him the most was not the military exercise. It's about ordinary people. China strictly prohibits guns. But if you can't help it, he asked the Japanese, do you really feel at ease? What shocked him even more was, China will continue this concept of sacrificing the blood of heroes through educational symbols and narratives. And it was passed down from generation to generation. This collective memory management of war. Extremely rare worldwide. Finally, our netizens of flower growers concluded that, in fact, there have been two voices in Chinese society for a long time. There is a sense that there will never be enough armaments. The other thinks the former is not ruthless enough. In many countries, decades without war is righteous. But in China, this can be easily understood as repression after restraint to the limit. Chinese people don't take the initiative to provoke trouble, but once it is determined that it must be done, the psychological threshold will be low, allowing the outside world to misjudge. So the Chinese can't go to war. Maybe they're not obsessed with war, but they were never afraid of war. They farm to survive, and once history and reality are cornered, they also never deny. Some problems can only be solved by force.